Antoine is going to be crowned your WOR Season 10 champion.
And history's been made. Ballina, the first WOR PS4 champion. What a championship! What a season! Absolutely phenomenal!
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to World Online Racing for some more action on the PlayStation Top Tier. This is round number 5 of the championship, and the big question tonight is, can anyone stop CRG Gamer making it 5 wins out of 5? The first time anyone would have done that in WOR since season number 3. My name is Luke Etheridge, and we've got a slightly different voice in the commentary box tonight. Some of the viewers of the second tier here on PlayStation might be familiar with him. It is, of course, Logan Skelton. Logan, how are you doing?
I'm doing very good, thank you very much. It's quite a shock I'm actually here. I do apologise to me friends in Tier 2. I cannot be with them tonight because I've got to fill in for Sam tonight. Thank you very much, Luke, for giving me the opportunity. Unfortunately, I am having some connection issues. It's not my internet connection, it's totally fine. For just some reason, it doesn't want to load up for me, and I have absolutely no clue why.
It's pretty par for the course for F1 2021, if we're being perfectly honest. The only person who doesn't seem to have any problems with this at the moment is, of course, CRG Gamer. He's had a brilliant start to the season, has won the first 4 races, including last time out in Canada. Again, we had slightly different names getting their way onto the podium. Cornet getting his first podium on the season in his first race of the season as a reserve for Alfa Romeo. He finished in second. Jensen finally got the result his pace has deserved. He finished in third. So Gamer now has a 52-point lead in the championship, 100 points compared to Lars on 48. Nico moved up to third on 34, and then it is Jensen on 23, Suku on 22. Unsurprisingly, given the dominance in the Drivers' Championship, it is AlphaTauri that are leading the Constructors. They're on 115, Williams have 70, McLaren and Aston Martin tied on 40 points. CRG Gamer, he's just been unbelievable in the races. He's yet to score a pole position, but that doesn't really matter. He's doing it where it matters in the race, keeping it clean, keeping it consistent. Doesn't seem like anyone else is able to get close to him at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. 52-point gap. So that means even if Lars wins twice, he will still be in the lead by 2 points if Gamer were not to score. It's just unimaginable. It's just unbelievable. Alright,
yeah,
I am in the session finally. I was having some connection issues, but I am in, finally.
You are in, and hopefully you can get it spectated as well, because it seems like the session is not too far away from getting started. Then you might have noticed, actually, we've got a slightly different calendar as well. There have been a few changes. Hungary has been removed from the calendar. That was going to be after Britain and before Belgium. That is now going to be a break week, and the Imola and the Saudi Arabia round, so the Emilia-Romagna and Saudi Arabia, have swapped themselves round, as we are expecting to get the Imola circuit before the Jeddah circuit. And of course, on future F1 games, we might get another circuit in the Middle East. We won't be getting it on this one, and I think Codemasters are fairly happy to not give us that, seeing as they've got enough on their plate at the moment. We are, of course, getting the Los Al circuit in Qatar, which I'm not sure is going to provide the best F1 racing, to be perfectly honest, but who knows, I might be surprised.
Well, it is popular in MotoGP. They've been there since 2004, at the same time F1's been at Bahrain since. And considering that there's now going to be 4 tracks, potentially, in WOR's next, well, Formula 1's next game and WOR's cycle, it's just going to be crazy to think that in 2003 there were no races in the Middle East.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. Of course, the calendar's grown since then. I think 2003, I seem to remember being the last time we had a 16 race calendar. 2004 went to 18, and then talking in the future, it might even hit a 25 race calendar, which does seem absolutely crazy. I can't see that making its way over to League Racing, but who knows what could happen in the future. Let's get in, though, to the qualifying session. Very overcast at the moment at Austria, and this is kind of a feature of this circuit. You do see quite a bit of rain around here. The qualifying for last year's Syrian Grand Prix, of course, was quite wet, and it looks fairly wet at the... Well, it looks dry at this moment in time, but you never know if we will get some rain.
No, you don't, of course. In more recent league races I've been doing, it has been raining towards the end of the race. Hello, Russia. So, yeah, very unpredictable weather here could provide exciting action tonight.
Yeah, it could. Will we get ourselves a different pole sitter as well? I said we've had, obviously, Gamer winning every single race. We've had 4 different pole sitters in the first 4 races so far, and here's the man who got that honour of starting at the front at the Canadian Grand Prix. Didn't exactly go to plan for Marcus Towler. Had a few spins, had a few difficult moments. He ended up finishing, well, outside of the points, actually. Only 2 podia, only 2 people have got pole position have managed to convert that into a podium so far. Suku in round 1 of the season finished 2nd from pole, and Kuan for China, round 3 of the season, he finished 3rd from pole position. So if you're in Shizhou and you get pole position, chances are you get a podium. If you're in another team and you get pole position, chances are it's not going to go your way. A lot of the drivers heading out early on, quite a few drivers on a set of medium tyres, perhaps taking advantage of the fact that we have got a bit of a reduced grid tonight because of other racing events that are going on the PlayStation, which I'm sure you all well aware of. But let's see what they can do in their absence. Maybe a chance for someone else to get a good run. Maybe a chance for someone like Dan Spreen as he heads now down towards turn number 1. Uphill braking zone means you can brake slightly later, of course. Watch out for turn number 1. DRS open again on that Red Bull. DRS such an important part of this circuit as he now heads up the hill through the flat out left-hander at turn number 2, braking hard into turn 3. Probably the main overtaking point, and if you don't get the move done into turn 3, and it's looking like a very good first run so far from Dan Spring, there's always the chance here as you now head downhill ever so slightly into the braking zone of turn number 4. You'll see a lot of drivers snatching that front right. There does Dan Spring, gets away with it though. Now through turn 5, just a continuation of turn number 4 and the double left-handers of turn 6 and turn 7 here. The front right tyre starting to take a bit of a hammering at this point of the circuit, and nice and clean from Dan Spreen. Watch out for this curb at turn number 8. Very easy to get it wrong through there. And now into the pit lane entry part, turn number 9. The drivers do not have to respect that white line tonight, but they have been told if there's a car behind you, try to make it clear what your intentions are. And Dan Spreen just getting it wrong through turn number 10. That's probably going to be a feature tonight. Drivers getting it wrong, especially in qualifying through that final corner, which of course ruins your next lap as well.
Yes, it's a very demanding and tight track, as we see Marcus Towler getting the fastest time the first time, and so far the fastest 103.873. I'm sure that will fall in a few minutes, but CRG Gamer are 4-time back-to-back race winner, getting on to 2nd, make that 3rd. Kryptonite, his teammate, goes to the top of the charts, but long way to go, Luke.
Yeah, still plenty of action to go around here. Simon, his first race as a his second race, I should say, as a full-time driver. Didn't score any points last time out for Ferrari. He's invalidated his run. We're seeing Brock for the first time in a while. I think he might have made a mistake on this lap at some point. There was a yellow flag being caused by a McLaren earlier, and he does seem to be going quite slow at this moment in time. Let's see what OP Nico can do. 3rd in the championship. Has got a chance of maybe claiming 2nd tonight, as Lars, I believe, will not be joining at any point. So if he gets himself on the podium, he'll be moving up into 2nd in the championship. He has had 1 pole position so far this season at the Japanese Grand Prix. Last time out, he got his best result of the season with a 4th place at Canada. So still actually yet to get on the podium for Aston Martin. Just locking up slightly into turn number 4. We should expect this qualifying to be pretty close. It has officially got 10 corners, but realistically, there's only really 7 or 8 corners that actually provide a challenge to the drivers. So one slight mistake can really cost you. There's not a lot of places to lose time on a lap like this.
Absolutely not, Luke, as we've seen some drivers have invalidated a lap, including Tom Robbo, who has just went on to start another lap. Actually, no, he cannot. He invalidated on the last corner, which means it is invalidated. Nico goes to 6th in the Aston Martin, and actually set the fastest 3rd sector, I believe, but he was invalidated on the 2nd attempt. The advantage with the medium tyres, you can see, some are doing 2 laps instead of 1. That is because of the tyre wear being much less drastic than the softs. And Brock going to the top of the time sheets with 103.699 on 2 laps. So that, because it is one session, of course, you have to start on the tyres. You set your fastest lap in for the race. Top 10. But the bottom 6 in this case tonight do not have to. They'll be given a free choice. So there could be strategy coming into play. And there could be a good reward if you finish in the top 10 and set your best time in mediums.
Yeah, that seems to be what a lot of the drivers are going for at the moment. 2 Aston Martins, 7th and 8th. If we just have a look at the best lap times for the drivers there, you can see at the moment it is Brock, Marcus Towler, the 2 Aston Martins and Line Violet, the only ones in the top 10 to have set laps on the soft tyres. But it does look like some of the others are starting to change their mind about that, including our championship leader, CRG Gamer. It must be... It's a situation I've never had. It must be such a good feeling where everything just seems to be going right for you in the season, and no one's been able to show that consistency to really get close to him. The only other driver to get double podiums is Lars, and of course with him missing tonight, it's only likely that we're going to see Gamer extend his championship lead.
Yes, indeed. He hasn't been getting the poles, but he has been getting the wins, and that's what counts. There's no points for pole position, of course, and even if we did award it, it would probably be just a consolation, because 25 points could make or break your season, especially... Well, if you win, you will get 25 points. That is the case, but CRG Gamer starting another lap now, coming out of turn number 10. This is the crucial one. Of course, if you go wide any moments there, that's it. Your lap is done, and so will your next lap, because it invalidates the second lap too.
Yeah, it's always want to be careful of that turn number 10. It's similar to what we saw at the final chicane last time out in Canada. You've really got to attack that corner, but knowing that if you get it wrong, if you just take a bit too much curb, send yourself running out wide, or cut it too much on the inside, you are going to be ruining 2 laps for the price of 1, and you're just going to have to do a very slow lap and head your way back into the pits. Gamer was slightly up in the first sector. We'll see what you can do through the second sector, where you really need a bit more downforce on your car. Sector 1, realistically, is all about just getting it right through turn number 1 and not outbraking yourself into turn number 3. We'll check what Gamer's time is here as he comes through the second sector point. Unsurprisingly, we're seeing improvements again. He's about 3/10 up at the moment, so this should be enough to put the AlphaTauri on provisional pole position now. 10 minutes 20 seconds remaining. It is Brock, Gamer's teammate Kryptonite, and Marcus Towler, the top 3 drivers at this moment in time, as our championship leader makes his way around turn 10, heads towards the finish line, and a 103.603. Didn't gain a lot on his medium tyres. We're not actually seeing too much of a time delta between the 2 sets.
No, we're not, because this is a very short track, so it pretty much won't hurt the tyres a lot, especially the soft tyres, because in normal case, this would be your one and done on this tyre, and you'd have to go into the next, but no, they seem to be putting in 2 laps. Nico doing 3 laps, which surprises me, in fact. CRG Gamer backing off there. Of course, we have around, I can't see, 9.5 minutes left in the session. Traffic, I should mention, traffic is going to be an issue because of the short nature of this circuit. A short circuit, quite literally.
Yes,
with 16 cars. Go on.
I was going to say, I think it is actually, just having a quick look at the calendar, I think it is the shortest circuit we are going to go to this season. And I think actually on the game, it's the 3rd shortest circuit. Only Zandvoort, which is a bit slower, and Monaco, which is obviously a lot slower. And we all know what the traffic problems are like around there. So even with a reduced grid, we are seeing cars not with that much space, especially when they're sitting 63-second lap times. We're on board with Cohen here, just invalidates through that final corner. A shame, because that was looking like a really good lap from the Alpine driver. Would have been good enough to put him into 2nd place. The Alpines, I mean, Cohen's had a podium so far this season. We saw Jensen get a podium last time around. They're looking pretty quick at this moment in time, if they can keep it consistent and keep it clean.
Yes, I'd just like to correct you. This is not actually the shortest circuit on the calendar. It is, in fact, Interlagos by 9 meters. Actually, I think I might be wrong on that again. I think, if we remember Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez in Mexico. Let me just pick this up here. Yes, the shortest track by 5 meters from Interlagos is the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez in Mexico City. So 4.304 kilometers and 4.309 for Interlagos. 4.318 is the length of the Red Bull Ring.
Well, told me something I didn't know there. I always thought this circuit was slightly shorter than Brazil, again, because it just feels so much faster than Interlagos, which does have that very twisty middle sector, of course. Brock heading towards the finish line now. His first lap on the set of the soft tyres. He's had a podium so far this season. Can he get provisional pole here at the Red Bull Ring?
Yes.
He can indeed. 103.519 puts him ahead of Gamer. Santeri reserving again in the Williams. He's got himself up into third place. And Jensen out of the session, and that looks like it is coming from turn 1. You need to watch. I have done that myself on this game. If you run wide at turn 1 and you think, oh, I'll just take this really wide and try to avoid invalidating, there is a massive bump in the runoff area, and once you hit it, I think the chances of you controlling the car are next to none, and I wonder if that's what Jensen has done.
That could be horrible for Jensen. He is not going to be any higher than 8th in this session, and it could be way further down. Because, of course, we have a couple of drivers yet to set a time. A lot of drivers below him will be setting an even faster time, perhaps.
Yeah, certainly. I think if I was Jensen, I'd definitely want to now get knocked outside of the top 10. I don't think I'd want to be starting 8th place on a set of the used soft tyres. You'll be wanting to start a bit lower down, and then at least you've got an alternate strategy as an option. It does look like it is brightening up around this circuit. 6.5 minutes to go. It is clearly going to be a fully dry run for qualifying. Nico just backed off on that lap as he headed towards the end of it, so he's going to go for another one, similar to what we saw him do earlier on the set of tyres. F1 MD Andrea heading towards the final part of the circuit. Struggled last time out, but did manage to pick up a point. He gets himself up into second place. It is a McLaren 1-2 here at the Red Bull Ring. I was going to say you don't say that too often, but to be perfectly honest, lately in Formula 1, it seems like they're the team most likely to get a 1-2.
I mean, I started watching Formula 1 in 2005, and this was actually par for the course. And well, except 2006, of course, they struggled in 2006. 2007 was another year because, of course, they had Lewis Hamilton and Fernando Alonso, which didn't really end very well. But here we go, the entire orange crew of McLaren getting up there, 1 and 2. You love to see it if you're wearing papaya right now, but CRG Gamer wants to put an end to that, but he's slower in the second sector by 8 thousandths. He's got 2 more corners to navigate, and they're very fast and furious to me. Around the final corner he goes, it looks fine. Will he set a faster time? Yes, he will! 103.457. He is 0.15 faster than last time, and he is now 62 thousandths ahead of Brock. Look.
Yeah, it's a great lap there by Gamer. The final sector must have been pretty terrible on his lap before, because it just looked normal that time around, to be perfectly honest, but he has gone fastest. Will he get his first pole position? And maybe being on pole position might actually change his luck ever so slightly. He's won every race without starting on pole. Maybe we'll see which pattern this season's going to last. The Gamer winning everything, or the man on pole not winning anything. Cohen, the only driver yet to set a lap time at the moment, and he's just backing off, taking it pretty slowly down in 60th. TTG Civil making his debut tonight, a reserve driver in the Mercedes, 104.819, seems quite a bit off the other drivers. Another driver also making his debut tonight, IFR_Tom Robbo, taking the place of Modestroll tonight. He's in the Haas. He is up in 9th place at this moment in time. We've seen one AlphaTauri set a really quick time. Here's another one who might be trying to work his way up the order. Kryptonite, 1.5 temps through the second sector. We've gone from a McLaren 1-2. Could we even see an AlphaTauri 1-2?
I mean, we nearly see one in Italy 2008 if it weren't for Sebastian Bourdais getting off his grid box on the formation lap. Oh, but Kryptonite has invalidated the last corner, and that will be his second lap invalidated too. How devastating that could be. He'll have to go back to the pits, but he's only got 4 minutes, Luke.
Yeah, thankfully, of course, being such a short circuit in lap time, I've seen drivers here before do 4 runs fairly standardly, so he should be able to get back to the pits in time with, even if he takes it pretty standard on the lap, about 2 minute 40 remaining, and that should be plenty of time to have the crew deal with your car, even if you get held up by your teammate, and get yourself back out there. It seems pretty quiet out on circuit at the moment. We've only got a couple of drivers, Simon and Kryptonite heading back towards the pits, and Marcus Towler about to head out on a lap. One of the McLarens has joined him, that is Andrea as well. So these are just trying to get out early. They're not going to gain a slipstream, but they'll be hoping, of course, that they avoid any of the traffic that we were talking about.
Tom Robbo has just went out as well, so both the Haas's are out and in business here. We are at the business end, speaking of business, of this qualifying session. 3 minutes to go. Every second is going to count. In fact, every millisecond is going to count. Oh, it's a bad exit from the final corner for Marcus Towler. He really needs to catch up on that as he starts his, what will probably be his final run. If he can... Oh, he's made a mistake at the first corner, and he nearly runs into Nico. He's had to actually... Is he actually backed up? No, he's not backed up. I do apologise. He is half a tenth down in the first section, and he's had a terrible entry into Remus. Coming down through the second DRS zone, or third really, because of course there's the one at the start finish line. Coming down to Schlossgold now. Looks okay to me. Now down to turn number 5, that will be Rauch. Actually, turn number 6, I'm sorry. And then it will be turns 7 and 8. This is a tricky one, folks. If you go too far wide at turn 8, he's taken it very carefully. Oh my goodness me! He's made a mess of it and has actually backed off. He's going to do another lap, it looks like, Luke.
Yeah, it does. I think he backed off part way round there. Noticed the red light flashing, suggesting that he wasn't using any of his electrical energy, just saving it all for another final run, and maybe even one more after that. Still got 2 minutes remaining, and we've now gone pretty much every single car is out on circuit, apart from obviously Jensen, who had that crash earlier on and has dropped himself down outside of the top 10 now. Let's see what Andrea can do. He's going to be the next man to come across the line to set his first hot lap in this session, and I think we're going to be having to keep a close eye on the times. I think that one of Gamers might still get beaten by someone, as Andrea sots himself just ahead of his teammate, then gets himself up into second place. Line Violet's just finishing his out lap at this moment in time, as is Santeri. We've got the other half of Tom Webbo. He's down at the moment. He's just backed off of this run. A lot of drivers making mistakes, kind of what we expected around this circuit. Let's see who else is coming up to finish the lap. Shizu Cohen yet to set a lap time in this session, and he's backed off as well. He's leaving it very late. He's basically got one shot qualifying.
Marcus Tau has spun at turn 7, just before turn 7, and that will be the end for him in this session. As we see CRG Gamer, oh my goodness me, trying to come through. He's on a blitzing lap right now. He comes through the final 2 corners. Can he obliterate the already set pole time by him? No, Brock sets the fastest, and CRG Gamer's behind. 103.392 for Gamer, but Brock 103.354 from pretty much nowhere. I was focused on Gamer this whole time. And it looks like Gamer might miss out on another pole position unless he can find that extra few milliseconds to cut down on, and he'll get his first pole of the season if he can do that. Luke.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Great lap there by Brock. He is going to have time to do to have time to finish off the laps that all the drivers are on. Tom Robbo spins out the final corner. And, well, that won't retire him from the session, but any chance he's got of improvement has just gone out the window, as Santeri now goes fastest of everyone on a 103.301. Dan Screen comes across the line. He's quite happy to just stay in that 15th place. Cohen's left it nice and late. Can he get another pole position? No, he cannot. Goes into 4th place at the moment. Gamer's a 10th down here. He's already done one mighty final sector. He's going to have to pull another one out of the bag. As for checkered flag is out. Can CRJ get himself onto pole position? No, he can't. He does improve in the end, but not by enough. His teammate stays in 10th place. Rudy comes across the line. He gets himself up into 4th. Knocks Cohen down the order ever so slightly. Cyril, he's not set a clean lap here, so we won't be improving whatsoever. Who else have we got that looks like they're going faster at this moment in time? Tom has backed off. Line Violet has backed off. Andrea comes into the pits. Santeri, another driver that has backed off. So I believe that is it for qualifying. And it is VRT Santeri who becomes our 5th different pole sitter of the season.
Yeah, it has been quite weird. We've had 5 different pole sitters, but the same guys won it every time. It could happen tonight. CRG Gamer is going to be on the outside of turn number 1 as we start the race, so he's actually got the clean side. Brock has the dirty side, so he will actually get a disadvantage. So it'll be interesting to see how the race will start as Kryptonite whizzes past CRG Gamer on my screen. But look, it's going to be very exciting, and I hope it's going to be one heck of a race.
Yeah, it should be fantastic. Austria always seems to provide good action. I know it has done in races that we've commentated on fairly recently. A pretty close grid as well. Top 14 drivers separated by just over 6/7 of a second. Cyril a bit further back, and Dan Screen as well, straight off his first point score of the season with a 5th in Canada, so he'll be hoping for a better race. It is, yeah, it should definitely be good. Should be interesting to see what drivers can do on the alternate strategy. Got Nico in 11th. He's a quick driver. We know Jensen is as well as Marcus Towler. But it is Santeri who claims his first pole position of the season in his third race. He'll be hoping to convert that to a best result. Brock second after missing the last 2 races. Gamer is third. Rudy in fourth. Cohen in fifth. Andrea sixth. Tomer gets a good qualifying. Can he sort of kickstart his season in 7th place? Line Violet is 8th. Simon is 9th. Kryptonite, very interestingly, sets his best time on a set of the medium tyres. He will be starting 10th on that used set of mediums. And with a fresh choice of tyres, it's going to be Nico, Marcus Towler, Tom Bobo and Jensen making it an all IFR 7th row of the grid. And then Cyril and Danspreen rounding out the 16 cars here. Should be a great race. Should be interesting to see what the different strategies all the drivers work out on and how the DRS trains work out for everyone. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what this race has got installed for us here. Always a fascinating round, the Austrian Grand Prix. Make sure to check out the rest of the WOR action in the week as well. Of course, there is no PC action anymore. We have stopped that league because of the issues they are having with the PC game at this moment in time. But you can check out top tier Xbox action on a Monday, lower tier PS action on the Monday as well, and the rest of the tiers on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from the Xbox League. Should be a pretty close races. Kryptonite, he's done a good job getting himself 10th on that set of medium tyres. As long as he can stay within DRS range of those faster cars ahead of him, and that also applies for the cars behind him that will be starting on whatever fresh set of tyres they do. I imagine the majority will be on the mediums. If they stay within DRS range, they'll be looking really good to get some good results for drivers that are starting further down the field.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, Luke. As you see, it's a nice and sunny day. Not a single cloud in the sky. Okay, one cloud, but pretty much no risk of rain by the looks of it. And, you know, some people say, oh, rain, it makes things interesting. It does make things interesting, but you do not need rain to make a great race, as we have seen in races past.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, every race so far this season, we've had fascinating action. Quite a few of them. We've not really been sure right until the end of the race who is going to take the victory. And I wonder if it's going to be the same here tonight at the Red Bull Ring. 4.381 kilometres, 2.683 miles, a 10-turn blast through the Styrian Mountains. Plenty of overtaking opportunities with the 3 DRS zones. Turn 3 and Turn 4, probably where you're going to see the majority of the action. As we see what tyres the drivers have gone for outside of the top 10, the only slight surprising one, Tom Robbo going for the hard tyres, clearly not confident that he can make the medium soft strategy work.
I mean, it could be a bit of a master stroke if the safety car comes in and say lap 30 or lap 31, they can put the softs on instantly and their only driver not to pit at all until that point. But you never know. It will be pretty interesting.
Yeah, well, be good to see what his pace is like earlier on. Jensen just behind him. Didn't really get to see what he could do in qualifying. He's had some fantastic races lately. Like we said, he got 3rd place last time out. Looked pretty quick in some of those earlier on this season. He's got himself up to 4th in the championship. If he'd have had a better qualifying, as I said, he'd probably be one of CRG Gamer's main challengers tonight. And who knows, if he can make that alternate strategy work, he's going to have to do some overtaking to do so. But if he can get further up the order as... Oh, that just shows you how much Tom Robbo's struggling on those hard tyres. Thank God for him that the damage is turned off on the formation lap. Spins it, coming round out of turn 8.
Almost did Max Verstappen in Hungary last year. Yes, as you can see, there's very little grip on those hard tyres, especially on a track like the Red Bull Ring, Luke.
Yeah, short track, of course. We've not seen much chance for drivers to get the temperature in, especially in those front tyres. Seems to be a bit more of a real limited circuit out turns 1, 3 and 4. Especially the middle sector does put a bit more stress on those rear tyres. And tyre strategy could well be important here. If you can make the soft medium work, you could be in an absolutely fantastic situation. And I'm sure that's what some of our drivers towards the front of the grid are going to do. Championship leader, 4 wins out of 4. Going to make it a fantastic 5 in a row. He's going to have to pass some cars to do so. Or he's going to have to rely on the cars around him getting penalties. As we wait for the lights to come on here at the Red Bull Ring, we have got 5 lights. And we're underway for the Austrian Grand Prix. Quite a bit of a hold there. It seems like a decent start from Brock, and Santeri's having to go ever so slightly defensive here. Cohen's got a good start as well, but it is Santeri still leading from Brock, and then Cohen and Rudy battling further behind. Gamer in 4th place. Straight away, the Red Bull right on the rear wing of the Alpine on this run down towards turn number 3. Brock also looking very racy behind Santeri as well, going 3 wide in the background. One of the Hassers breaking very late. That's Marcus Towler trying to go round the outside of as many cars as possible, and he's now got himself up into 10th place. Kryptonite drops into 11th. Tomer and Simon battling side by side on the run down to turn 4. There's a bit of hand waving, a bit of gesturing going on here as Simon's going to try and make the move stick all the way around the outside. If he can do so, that'll be absolutely superb for him.
That's a horrible one. That was nearly a crash there for Simon. In fact, Simon actually was a bit airborne going into Remus, as you might have saw that in the back, but Simon falling down. Simon having a horrible time. He is about to be overtaken by the majority of the pack. Now Dan Spreen is just right behind him. I think he might have to come in for a pit stop. Does he have damage? No, he does not have damage, but he is well down the field. He's actually just fell down to last place.
We're seeing something completely different, Logan. As is the way on F1 2021, because at the moment Simon's on 9th place on my screen, so who knows which one is true at the moment in time. He does seem to be having a bit of fun, though, at this moment. I think that's fair to say. Cohen's having a fun start to the race as well. In fact, Box had a bit of a nightmare on the last lap, because now Gamer's got ahead of him. Cohen's got ahead of him, and it looks like Rudy's going to get the one down as well out of turn 3. All of a sudden, the McLarens, who were looking very good at the start of qualifying, they had 1-2 for a bit. They ended up qualifying 2nd and 6th. Box trying to hold on round the outside to 5th place here, but for 4th place, and I think Rudy has got that move done. Rudy up into 4th, Cohen up into 3rd, and maybe most importantly, CRG Gamer finds himself in 2nd.
Yes, it's great for CRG Gamer, but it's a nightmare for the McLaren. I do not know what's happened to Brock. Has he had some damage? As we see, Jensen has went for a spin just before turn number 7, but it's still Santeri leading CRG Gamer as they about to start lap number 3, where DRS is now enabled.
Yeah, Gamer there quite a bit faster than Santeri on that last lap by about 4/10 of a second, dragging along Cohen and some of the others with him. And of course, now that DRS has been enabled, maybe a chance for some of them further back to save a bit of ERS, and Santeri might have to use a bit to get himself doing some defending here. Brock's going left and right as he tries to look for a move. Both of them breaking extremely late. I think they're both pretty much outbroke themselves into that corner. Rudy has to take avoiding action to go off the circuit, and Brock gets himself up into 4th place. The Red Bull straight underneath the rear wing of the McLaren. Both of these have got the DRS, of course, and this is just allowing those front 3 drivers to get away and bringing Andrea up to the action as well. Tomer gets himself up into 7th place. Showed good pace in the first race of the season. Since then, he's never really got close matching that. Could we see him work his way up the order as this race goes on? No changes in the front 3 on that lap. Oh, Kryptonite, big crash towards the wall, out of the race goes Kryptonite. That could well be a safety car.
Could be a safety car. It's a virtual safety car, but remember, the new addition to this game, it could be upgraded to a full course safety car, so we'll have to wait and see what the FIA, actually in this case WR, think of the incident. Lap number 4 has started. They're reducing their pace as is mandatory by the virtual safety car. 40% they must reduce their speed by, I believe. Santeri still in the lead. Simon, is he still 9th on your screen? If it is, then he's actually 14th.
Yeah, he's 9th on my screen at this moment in time. He's got Marcus Towler all over the back of him at this moment in time, as now Nico's actually trying to have a go at Marcus. These two in a pretty good place on that set of the medium tyres within DRS range of, well, if Simon is there, they're within DRS range of Simon, and these two are definitely battling hard at this moment in time as, oh, Santeri spun it! Race leader's gone off at turn number 4 all the way down the field. He is going to drop himself outside of the top 10, and just things seem to be going right for Gamer again. He takes the lead of this race, whether that was just colder tyres by the fact that there's been a virtual safety car or pressure from Gamer, I'm not sure, but Santeri, he was first. He's now pretty much last, and it looks like he's got a lot of understeer in that Williams. I'm not sure whether he's damaged his car, damaged the floor, damaged whatever, but I think he'll be coming into the pits.
He's damaged his front wing, Luke. He's coming into the pits right now. It is a disaster for the pole sitter. He's going to have to pick up all those pieces, and he probably might have to go the hards here, considering the dynamics of this race. But then again, I did see the pit stop strategy is 2-stop, but I do believe that is incorrect, as he has just come into the pits to change his wing, and he is going on the hard tyres. It is pretty tough to see with these camera shots, but he is on the hard tyres now, and he has got to start from square one. 15th, and a long way to go, Luke.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be a hard race for Simon as well. He's spun coming out the final corner, broke his front wing, so he'll be coming into the pits on this lap, and that will obviously demote him down into last place. So it's not going too bad for some of these medium runners at this moment in time. Civil's all over the back of Dan Spreen. He started lower down the grid, but because of various issues for the others, Dan Spreen is actually the biggest gainer in this race now. He's up 5 places. Obviously, biggest loser, Santeri, dropping from first to last. Other big winners at this moment in time, Marcus Towler up 4 positions. Robbo and Civil have gone up 3. Nico's gone up 2. And so has our race leader, CRG Gamer, then just staying ahead of Cohen at this moment in time, who, of course, being a bit further back in the championship, some of these drivers can maybe just afford to sort of go for the moves a bit and take a few more risks, and this could be one of them. Down the inside into turn number 3. Pretty much a straightforward pass that you always see at this circuit. Cohen takes the lead of this race, but can Gamer fight back into turn 4?
Nico's made a move on Marcus Towler into turn number 3 and is into 8th place. I should mention that Simon, I couldn't obviously talk about that because of all the action going on, Simon went off at turn 6 and unfortunately had to pit because he lost his entire front wing. So
Yeah,
back to last.
Yeah, down to last place. He's going to have a hard race. Nico sliding the car there, coming through turn number 6 and 7. It is crucial for these medium runners that they work together to try to get themselves back within that DRS train that we've got at the front of the field. 9 Violets at the back of that at this moment in time, as Tom and another driver having a slide there. Both Aston Martin seems to be struggling a bit with the rear downforce on that car from some of those medium speed corners, but it's not costing Nico too much at the moment. Fastest lap of the race, a 105.855, doing a very good job. A reminder, there is no point for the fastest lap here in WOR. We use the same point scheme as what Formula 1 used in about 2010, 2011, Sebastian Vettel era of Formula 1. 21.5 for a win, 18.15.12, pretty much the same as it is now, but without that extra point for the fastest lap, of course.
Luke, sorry to oh, there's a big accident between the two Hasses. Tom Brummo and Marcus Towler coming to blows after turn number 3. Marcus Towler has lost his entire front wing. His wheels are still attached properly, but he's going to have to go all the way back to the pit lane to repair that wing. He is going to go right down the order, perhaps maybe behind Santeri as well, who's, as my screen has Simon glitching all over, I think that's a desync. And Jensen has been given a 5-second penalty, Luke, for ignoring the yellow flag under the virtual safety car. Now that might be removed considering the dynamics of this, as the virtual safety car has ended. It came out as a result of Marcus Towler, as we see all the big names coming through to start lap number 8.
Yeah, the one thing that might cost Jensen is he's certainly going to have to come into the pits again, and he will end up serving that 5-place penalty, and then he won't be able to get it removed. But yeah, it seems like a very harsh penalty, and seems like this race is just going from bad to worse for one of the Alpine cars. It's going pretty well for the other one though. Cohen in the lead of this race. Marcus Towler comes into the pits for 2 Haas drivers coming together. We've seen it nearly happen so many times in Formula 1 this season. It has actually happened in WOR, and he now comes in for a set of the hard tyres. Gamer really closing up to the back of Cohen. I wonder if that virtual safety car had gone on a bit longer, whether we'd have seen any of the lead cars maybe take a bit of a cheap pit stop. Come in very early, they'd have had to come for the hard tyres, but would have been able to pull off obviously a huge undercut on those around them.
Yes, I should say, but Marcus Towler has actually got a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane, so more difficulties added to Marcus Towler's race. He has already been knocked out by his teammate out of Remus, and now he's got to go all the way around again. And of course, with that 5-second penalty, he will have to serve. But you know, if there's no safety car, he might finish the race on these hards, and he might appeal against it. As CRG Gamer has got past Cohen before turn number 3. Brock and Cohen going into battle now for second place. Brock holds on, and Cohen has lost 2 positions in literally 20 seconds.
Yeah, I think he just got a bad exit coming out of turn number 1. Nearly lost the car. So straightforward for Gamer to get the move done. It was a bit more difficult for Brock, but in the end managed to do so. He gets himself up into second place. Dan Spreen getting ahead of Tom Robbo at this moment in time, who's on those hard tyres. Won't be too long before they start to become slightly better than the mediums you'd have imagined. And maybe importantly, for the way this race is going to go, Nico has got himself onto the back of this lead train while he's on those sets of the medium tyres, so that could be one to watch a bit later on this race. His teammate's currently trying to battle with Andrea at the moment, but we're a quarter way through this race, and it seems like we've seen lots of incidents happen at the front, in the middle, and at the back of field, to be perfectly honest. But one thing that never changes is CRG Gamer is in the lead of this race. He's got Brock all over the back of him at this moment in time. Bit more BRS for Brock as Cohen out of the race.
Cohen had a big crash out of turn number 1, and that's the end of his race. I will not be surprised if we do see a safety car. Or, in fact, there's actually not been any change in the yellow flag standings. It's still showing a sector 1 yellow flag. So they might actually get away with no safety car, which won't be very good for the... Oh dear, CRG Gamer's actually hit Brock in the back there, but nothing done, looks like. Does CRG Gamer have any damage? It doesn't look like he has, but it doesn't look like there's a safety car. I can't see anything. It's very surprising. Cohen's still stranded on the track at turn number 1, so I'm surprised they haven't got it. But look at this, Rudy passed CRG Gamer. Is CRG Gamer pitting? He might have damage.
He must have damage. He was very slow through turn number 6 and 7. In fact, Moody almost went into the back of him. So, bit of a disaster for our championship leader then. He is going to have to do this the hard way. This time around, CRG Gamer comes into the pits. What that has done has meant Brock's got a huge lead at the front all of a sudden. 1.7 seconds. And yeah, new front wing going on medium tyres, 26 laps. It's going to be a stretch, but I have seen it done before. Yeah, a long way down the field. 11th place then for CRG Gamer, but we'll have to see how many places he gains with a bit of an undercut later on, as Tomo and Line Violet are battling now for 4th and 5th place, and this is just allowing Nico, obviously, to close in with these guys. Andrea down the inside of Rudy into turn number 4. We said the McLarens didn't have the best start to this race. All of a sudden, they're finding themselves 1-2 again, as we've got Cyril and Tom Robbo getting very close as well. I think that's Marcus Towler, who's had a spin on the pit straight.
It's getting worse for Marcus Towler. He's falling back again. He's not set. He's not last. Simon is still glitching on my screen. I think he's still last by the looks of it, but he's glitching all over my screen as Rudy is pit, Luke. Rudy is pit.
Yeah, Rudy and Line Violet coming in fairly early on. I always think for softs to mediums around here, ideally, you want to be getting to at least lap 13, maybe lap 14 or 15, but they're coming in fairly early on, trying to get this aggressive undercut strategy done. They will come out in plenty of free air, well behind Gamer, but obviously, well behind Jensen, but ahead of Gamer, who did have that pit stop and changed his front wing. So that's going to be good news for those guys. Cyril trying to get down the inside of Tom Robbo here. We saw these two battling the lap before. Cyril can't quite get the move done at this moment in time, and this is really holding up those cars on the alternate strategy. The only one who's looking, I'd say, in a really good position on that set of mediums is Nico. He's now got his teammate just ahead of them. If these two are communicating and I was Nico, I'd be saying, get out my way, mate. I'm on the better tyres at this point in the race.
The Aston Martin master plan coming into play, perhaps? But, oh, and Marcus Towler has been given another 5-second penalty. He's actually called it a day. He's had enough. He doesn't think he's going to get anywhere near the pack again. And Jensen being given a penalty for the track limits ruling as Brock and Tom are half pitted, and Andrea, of course, avoiding the double stack, stays out. So looks like he may pit the next lap. So Andrea is 6 tenths ahead of Nico as Brock and Tom get onto the medium tyres. Trying to go to the end of the race. There's a great battle here, Luke, happening for third between Dan, Tomo, and Cyril. It's free wide into turn number 3. Look at this. This is fantastic. And Cyril has got into third. Dan has fallen down to 5th. Tom Robbo into 4th. But my goodness, what a sight that was. 3 wide into Remus. You'd love to see it.
Yeah, fantastic racing, fantastic respect between them as well. It's very easy to get it wrong with the sharp apex of that corner. One of the tightest corners, I imagine, on the Formula 1 calendar. But Cyril's now up into 3rd. Tom Robbo in 4th. Pretty crucial for Cyril to try and get away and use the last bit of those medium tyres while they are still feeling good. Andrea, is he going to come onto the pits this time around, or is he going to stay out slightly longer? No, end of lap 13. Andrea comes into the pit, so that's going to promote Nico into the lead of this race. Cyril gets a penalty. I'm interested to see where Cyril's going to come, where Andrea's going to come out relative to Rudy and relative to OP_Toma as well. He might actually get passed by both of these cars. I reckon Rudy's an absolute certainty to get ahead of the McLaren driver. And yeah, it looks like Tom is going to do so as well, perhaps fairly comfortably. So Andrea staying out that extra lap. Didn't really have a choice to do so. He now finds himself in a net 4th place. Will still come out ahead of Line Violet and Gamer. Don't count Gamer out for a good result yet. He's in a net 6th place. He's on slightly older tyres than the other drivers, but we've already seen a couple of cars get penalties. If a few more manage it, if there's late safety cars or God knows what else could happen in this race, we've already had 3 retirements. I wouldn't count it out that Gamer ends up getting the victory here.
Yeah, don't count him out at all. He has been on fire, as we have said. 4 wins in a row, trying to make it 5. But remember, anything can happen. There's a long way to go. It says on my screen Simon is the leader. That is obviously incorrect. He is about to be lapped by Nico, who, of course, on the medium tyre, will not be pitting until the later stage of the race. As there's a spinner in Sector 2, it is Rudy! Rudy has spun and he's out of the points now. CRG Gamer into the points. And Rudy definitely did not want that mistake. I think he might have... No, he does not have any damage, but he has lost a lot of ground. As Tom Robo and Cyril are into battle. Cyril has been passed by Tom Robo just before Remus, but Cyril ain't giving up. Because remember, if you have the DRS into turn number 3 and you're still behind him, and you go in front of him, your opponent gets the DRS. And Dan Spree watching on, of course, he lost 2 places to these 2 drivers, waiting for something crucial to happen, and he can pounce at the right time. And once again, Simon, he's not first on my screen. If it's not showing up for you, then it's showing up for me. Simon is in front. That's not true, of course. He's about to get lapped by Nico, who is, of course, on the medium tyres. And Tom Rubble also on the hards. The top 5 are on medium or hard, which have not pitted, and of course the ones behind them have.
Yeah, and that's Jensen spun it, lost his front wing, so he's going to drop even further down the order, of course, so that's less traffic for some of these cars to try and get past later on. He's just pulling well out of the way. Sensible driving there from Jensen. Does look like it's going to be, from what will look like good pace for Alpine, does look like they are going to get no points, unfortunately. What might be good news for Nico, who's in the lead at this moment in time, once he's trying out this alternate strategy, is that the cars are fairly gapped out at this moment in time. It's only, out of those that have already come into the pits, it's only Line Violet that is within DRS range of the car in front. So that could help Nico once he comes into the pits. I imagine it will be for the set of the soft tyres. It'd be pretty ridiculous to try and go for a medium-hard strategy around here. Definitely would not work out for him, but it's only Line Violet who's got the DRS on the car in front at the moment, and that is Andrea, of course. What's bad news for him is that Brock, who is currently the lead car that has come into the pit, he's just got plenty of free air at the moment, so he will be closing that gap to Nico. It is currently 12.6 seconds. If Nico pits now, and I imagine he'll do a few more laps, when he does pit, probably going to come out somewhere in between Gamer and Rudy.
Yeah, so it will be interesting to see how that pans out. A lot of talent in this division, but of course the Gamer being on top throughout, but you never know, in a fast track like Austria, that could all change. Line Violet gets a 3-second penalty. Of course, there are going to be a lot of penalties, but since this is the top division, that will probably be much less of a factor, actually much more of a factor, because of all of the penalties that happen in, well, you know, all the penalties, 3 seconds, you don't want to make them, because as there are less happening in the top division, Simon is, if we can see, unlapping, getting lapped by all the drivers. Sorry if I'm stumbling on my words, I'm confused on what's going on with Simon. He's not in 5th position. That is a total lie.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say Simon's definitely desynced on your end, whether he is slightly on mine. Hopefully for all the other drivers, they are able to see him, but he's currently showing on my screen as 12th position at this moment in time. You can see the penalties on the left. Cyril, Thomas, Line Violet, Santeri and Jensen, all with 3 seconds of time penalties. With how close the drivers are in this division, that could be costly. If we get a late safety car, that will prove to be extremely costly, getting any penalties whatsoever. I think the mediums on Nico's have perhaps started to see the best of their life. Tom Webbo's just starting to close in by a 10th or 2 at the lap at the moment, and Tom managing to stay well ahead of Cyril and Dan Screen, as the other Red Bull of Rudy has gone for a spin again. Coming out, oh, that's the last thing you want to do. And you see it happen so often on this game. You overheat the tyres. And those rears, it's just a vicious circle. And that is a third virtual safety car in this race. And that is, of course, for Rudy now. Probably still a lap or two too early. Maybe for these guys to come in and put the soft tyres on.
Nico staying out still, of course, all the drivers. Oh my goodness me, Tom Rubble's pitting! Tom Rubble is coming into the pits. I think he's going to go on the mediums, Luke.
Yeah, mate, I was going to say, makes sense for him to maybe come into the pits. Cyril following him in as well. So whether Cyril's coming in, that's got to be for a set of hard tyres. I cannot see you getting the softs to last 18 laps in any sort of decent condition at this end of the race. But maybe he's just taking the risk and going for that slightly cheaper pit stop. Of course, Tom Robbo should come out. Yeah, you can see him there coming out ahead of Cyril. And I think he's going to actually come out ahead of Gamer as well. Tom Robbo's gone for a set of the soft tyres as well. So they've gone pretty aggressive here. Those tyres might not be in the best condition at this end of the race. Whether we're going to see any punctures, I am not so sure. But it is still Nico leading this race. Dan Spreen in second. Brock now up to third after a few earlier pit stops than planned, caused by what has been a very long virtual safety car. So with all these VSCs that we've seen, if any of the drivers were struggling perhaps to manage their fuel in this race, that shouldn't be an issue anymore. Rudy's coming into the pits and perhaps, yeah, new front wing, in fact, retires from this race. So we are down to just 12 runners after the disaster that Santeri, Simon and Jensen have had. As long as one of them finishes, they're going to get into the points.
Yeah, as we can see, CRG Gamer trying to chase down Tom Robbo, who's actually went wide on turn number 6. And wide again.
Oh, Thomas! Sorry to interrupt. Thomas spun, broken his front wing, coming out of turn number 8. That's another spin we're seeing there. That's another car out of the way of CRG Gamer, and another car out of the way of those that are on the alternate strategy. So Thomas, he's now got to come into the pits, drop a long way down the order. Tom Robbo in 6th place. He's not going to be looking too bad later on. But I think Nico. Where's Nico going to come out as we try and work it out? He's going to come out round about where Cyril is. He's going to have plenty of overtakes to do. He's now going to have to pass some cars that are on the soft tyres as well, which is just going to be oh so more difficult.
Of course, because they have more grip. If you know your tyres, his gap into second place Dan Spreen is 6 1/4 seconds. Oh my goodness me! He nearly lost it out of turn number 6 as Simon still glitches on my screen. That is, of course, incorrect. Please ignore that, folks. If it's on your end, Jensen setting the fastest lap of 104.884, but that is, of course, meaningless in terms of the championship as you do not get a point. Dan Spreen's been given a penalty, and that is the 8th driver tonight. Well, actually, it's not the 8th driver, but the 8th driver still in the race. Rudy has quit the race, unfortunately, so Dan Spreen on his own as we have started lap number 21. Tom Robbo now setting the fastest lap. As we can see, Tom Robbo just behind Andrea now. Is he going to try and make a move? He's got all the DRS in the world. He's making it look easy. He's passed him before turn number 2. Is this a strategic move from Andrea? He's backed off and try and get a move on him out of Remus? Let's find out, as he's not get a good start out there, but he's actually approaching him again. Andrea going on the outside of Tom Robbo into Schlossgold side by side in the exit, but Tom Robbo holds on. Great move from Tom Robbo in Remus, and he manages to hold on. He is in 4th position, and on those soft tyres, he's in a very good position. But remember, these have to last to the end of the race.
Yeah, and I think that could be what proves to be very difficult for Tom Robbo, proves to be a bit difficult for TTG Cyril as well. Nico going for the bit more conventional medium soft strategy in the lead of this race at the moment. He'll definitely come out behind Cyril as things stand at this moment in time, and him and Cyril might have to start dragging each other onto the back of Gamer and some of these other cars. Andrea loses a bit of time, unsurprisingly, coming out of turn 1. He hasn't got the same grip as Tom Robbo. He's not got a lot of ERS either. Both of them running pretty low. The red light flashing on the back of the McLaren. He's just going to have to stay behind for now, and maybe this lack of ERS is going to ruin any chance he has of fighting back at Tom Robbo. Lead car, though, out of those that has been into the pits, 8.5 seconds off the actual lead, is Shazoo Brock at this moment in time. He's having a very good comeback to WOR after missing the last 2 races as Line Violet picks up a time penalty. Barring any mistakes, and I say that knowing that we've seen a lot of mistakes It's looking pretty good for the McLaren driver of Brock at the moment.
Yes, it is, but of course, as we are seeing, anything can happen in these races. If something massive happens that brings out a safety car, it could change, it could turn the race on its head, as we have seen in races past. As we are trying to look for some action here, as Nico is still trying to extend that lead. It's now 7.25 seconds, 7.3 as he gets up to Remus. As Brock is getting closer to Dan Spreen. Is actually going for a move on the inside from a long way back, it looks like, but they're side by side coming out of there. And Brock has the DRS, and he is past Dan Spreen, and he's a great advantage with that DRS. He will go unchallenged into Schlossgold. Brock in the second.
Yeah, ideal for Brock there. Got the move done, kept the DRS. Very tactical to just go for that bit of a late lunge. Was definitely a fair move, and he's got past Dan Spreen at the first time of asking, so hasn't been held up by the Red Bull whatsoever. I think we are going to see, maybe not this lap, but definitely the lap after, Nico and Dan Spreen coming into the pits, getting rid of that set of the medium tyres, unless they're both hoping for a full safety car to come, or a virtual safety car to come at just the right moment. Otherwise, I'm not quite sure what they're doing at this moment in time. I wonder if Gamers damaged his side pod, damaged his floor, just damaged something else on that car, because he does not seem to have the pace that he normally does. He's in 7th place at the moment, but he's now 2 seconds behind Line Violet. The only thing which might save him in this race, he's yet to get any penalties. Neither has Andrea, neither has our lead 2 of Nico and Brock. And again, a late safety car or drivers just getting pushed close together for whatever reason, that could help him, as Andrea now finds a bit more pace, gets himself back up into 4th.
Great move by Andrea, but he's got to hold them off. But it doesn't look like Tom Rodo's getting anywhere near him despite being on soft tyres. Line Violet's actually closer to him than Tom Rodo is to Andrea. But it is no changing in the pecking order as they come out of Schlossgold. Still Andrea, Robo and Line Violet in 4th, 5th and 6th respectively. Doesn't seem to be any other close battles going on anywhere, but Dan Spreen is starting to fall back on Brock. You may wonder, oh, Nico's pit! Nico has come into the pits. Will Dan Spreen do the same? Yes, he will. So both of the long, medium stints are coming in. Oh, he's got a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. It's a disaster for Dan Spreen. And he won't get to serve that. He's got to come in now. He won't pit again on this strategy, so he'll have to have that added at the end of the race.
Yeah, that could be very costly for Dan Spreen. Wasn't looking too bad, perhaps, on that strategy. Will still come out comfortably in 8th place, and doesn't look like it will cost him too much. He's going to be very close with Santeri on the exit, but 19 lap fresher tyres and soft versus hards shouldn't have had it too hard to get away from Santeri, who does have a penalty as well. Tom Robbo and Andrea fighting yet again here for 2nd place, and that is now Tom Robbo who takes that position. But with that 3-second penalty, if the race finished as things were at the moment, we would get ourselves a McLaren 1-2, with Brock taking the victory, Andrea taking 2nd, and it would be Tom Robbo just getting 3rd place, I believe, from CRG Gamer. But still a long way to go in this race. You've got Nico there now in a bit of free air in 7th place, and all these cars, as we said earlier on, they're spaced out nicely. Whether he's going to be able to catch up to Brock, you know, 12 seconds in 12 laps is a big ask. I'm not quite so sure. Do not be surprised, though, if Nico gets a 2nd or a 3rd place from this race, which would be an absolutely brilliant result, considering he did start in 11th.
Yes, Tom Robbo has to go like the clappers if he has any chance of winning this race once he gets past Brock. But remember, those tyres will wear out massively coming to its end of its life. He is already on 6 laps of this stint, and he's got 11 more to do. It's going to be a big ask for Tom Robbo, I have to say. The gap, just under 3 seconds. Actually, it's over 3 seconds now. Andrea's getting close to Tom Robbo once again, but Tom Robbo's staying ahead as they come into Schlossgold, and CRG Gamer still in 5th. Just doesn't seem to be driving to his full potential tonight. I don't think that's his doing, to be fair. Remember, he did have that incident earlier where he had bumped Brock in the back and must have suffered damage of some sort. And I think he had to repair it. Did he have to repair his wing?
Yeah, he did. He did have a wing change in the pit stop, and I think that's obviously affected him. And not being in DRS range. We've seen now that Line Violet's dropped outside of DRS range. Gamer's really closing up to the back of the Alfa Romeo. It's so powerful around this circuit. 3 DRS straights on what is the shortest lap time. It feels like almost half the circuit is a DRS zone. Here comes Andrea down the inside of Tom Robbo on this occasion. I am really impressed by Andrea still being able to fight Tom this hard, because I think for the next lap or two, I would expect the soft tyres to have the advantage. Nico gets the move done as well on Cyril, straight forward into a turn number 3. He'll have way more traction on the exit, so he is now up into 6th place. Gamer is next target as Tom Robbo gets past of Andrea as well. 10 laps to go. All sort of action happening on here. Which way the drivers are going to finish? Is Andrea going to be able to finally get ahead of Tom Robbo? Will the softs last on Cyril and Tom's car? And how far up the order can Nico get? Can he get his first podium of the season? And will Brock hold on to become the first man to win a race that wasn't called CRG Gamer? We're not going to break the pole position curse as things stand at this moment in time, unless Santeri has an absolute miracle end to this race. But the Gamer run of 4 wins in a row, barring an absolute miracle, I'd say that's coming to an end.
I guess so. Looking at the back of the pack, Dan Spree now has 11 seconds of penalties. He's just been given another track limit penalty for cutting the course 3 times. You don't want to be doing that here, Dan. He is currently in 8th place, and it was going to be very difficult for him to get any further up the order of those tyres. As I think there must have been an incident. There is no incident at Sector 2 that's popping up on my screen. I don't know what is happening there, but as we see, it's going to be anyone's race. In fact, Andrea is still a little bit behind Tom Robbo. He's waiting his turn because, of course, Tom Robbo's tyres are going to be going... Simon says he's pitting.
He is pitting. I think that might have been the cause of the Sector 2 yellow flag, to be perfectly honest. I did notice he was facing the wrong way, coming through turns number 7 and 8, so I think that's what caused it. He's coming to the pits, got a speeding penalty, and put the soft tyres on. At least he's carrying on. Fair play to him. He knows with some of these cars battling, we might see some more incidents later on, so fair play for him to carry it on. And that might be good news for Tom Robbo as well here, because Simon looks as though he's getting well out of the way, even though ghosting is on. He is being very fair, as Andrea thinks about sending one up the inside. In the end, though, decides not to do that. We've also got a battle now out on track for 4th, 5th and 6th. Nico in 6th, Gamer in 5th, Line Violet in 4th position. Gamer's got the DRS here, but I just think the extra grip of those soft tyres, there's not a lot he's going to be able to do about this. Nico's down the inside, gets himself up into the top 5, but he's gone slightly deep, still able to hold on to that position.
Great move from Nico into 5th place, and with that big tyre advantage, I think it could be game over for Gamer in terms of his winning streak. He's starting to fall back. Cyril will be next to go for a move on Gamer. The gap between them 1.5 seconds. It does look like that Gamer's reign as race winner is going to come to an end. Meanwhile, Andrea's still on the back of Tom Robbo. He's definitely trying to get past as Nico has made his way past Line Violet, going into turn number 1. But here it is, Andrea going in front of Tom Robbo. That strategic move by Tom Robbo, who has got out of the way, but it looks like he will get the DRS coming out of Remus as they come down to Schlossgold. DRS on for Tom Robbo. He doesn't seem to be getting anywhere close to Andrea. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a McLaren 1-2 again.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic race from the McLaren car so far this season. They've got 40 points from the first 4 races. As things stand at the moment, they're getting 43 from this one today. It's going very well indeed. Nico was able to hold on from Line Violet and Gamer. I think Line Violet is really starting to struggle at this moment in time, and Gamer should be able to get this move done. Loses quite a bit of time in the dirty air, but I think next time around he'll get the move done. Cyril's not really closing up to him, so depending on how badly the tyres go off on Tom Robbo's car, who knows, we might still see CRG Gamer not get a podium, unless we do see some more penalties, but 4th place could well be on, and I think he'll have taken that after getting himself a broken front wing. And a man we've not really spoke about much in the latter stages of this race, Shizu Brock, 2.6 seconds ahead in the lead at this moment. 6 laps to go. Just keeping the concentration, keeping it clean. The name of the game for him at this moment in time is a late move by Gamer down the inside at the Remus curb. Line Violet tries to hold on, unable to do so. Championship leader makes his way up into 5th.
Yeah, I would like to apologise if my mic quality isn't that great. Of course, I am just using my surround sound, admittedly, unfortunately, on my Macintosh computer, but enough about that. Tom Robbo still about half a second behind Andrea. Simon has been given another penalty. He is a lap down as we speak towards all of the drivers tonight. Line Violet and Cyril are within DRS range of CRG Gamer and Line Violet respectively, of course. But Tom Robbo with that penalty is the chance of a podium starting to slip away as Nico is actually coming closer to him on fresher soft tyres, I should say. The gap though between Tom Robbo and Andrea reduced to half a second. Could be another change of position going into Schlossgold as they come out of the third corner, I should say. Will Tom Robbo get any run on Andrea? It doesn't feel like anything is changing for the moment. No, Andrea holding on to second. 4 and a bit laps to go. It's looking good for Brock and Andrea. It could be the 1-2 that McLaren desperately needed.
Yeah, it could be like the result this championship needs as well. Maybe just to kickstart things ever so slightly. Because let's not forget, I think obviously Brock was leading the race when that incident happened. I think Simon's had another mini moment here. And Tom Robbo and Andrea might be grateful that Simon's got out of the way. That ghost car definitely would have distracted me. I'm sure these drivers slightly more focused than I am. There is a reason I end up commentating and not racing. And Simon has retired from the race in the pits. So he is out of the race. We are down to just 11 runners here. Brock in the lead. Andrea in second. For now, Tom Robbo trying to hang on to third place, but as things stand, that place will go to Nico in the Aston Martin. Can he even close up to the back of these guys even further?
No.
Maybe get himself second place at this moment in time as Thomas retired from the race, and that is a late safety car. We seem to love one of these here. Well, F1 2021 seems to love one, and WOR does. We have got a late safety car. Our driver's going to come into the pits and maybe put on a fresh set of softs, or are they just going to try and hang on the tyres that they've got? And if they do, Nico on those very fresh soft tyres could be in a brilliant situation.
Jensen was closest to the pits and he's decided to decline that offer as Simon is actually retired from the race. So I had desync issues on my end, so I think that's been eliminated for me, so that's a good thing. But yeah, Toma losing it out of turn number 8, and that's the end of the road for him today. Brock has not pitted, and neither has Andrea, and I don't blame them. There's only 4 laps to go. Gamer has pitted! 3 laps to go, I should say, and Gamer has pitted. He's going to take a huge risk. He's going to go on the softs. I cannot see him going on a new set of mediums or hards. Coming in, it is the softs, unsurprisingly. Also, the 5 drivers have actually pitted. Gamer, Line Violet, Cyril, Dance Green, Santeri, and Jensen, who is not pitted yet. I think, well, he's got to come in, surely. But Tom Robbo staying out on those 14-lap-old tyres. Oh. I told you he ain't over till it's over, Luke.
Yeah, certainly. And obviously, with all the drivers behind Gamer pitting, he's lost absolutely nothing in that pit stop period. And he's gained very fresh tyres. He's got 8 lap fresher tyres than everyone else. He's only going to have... I mean, safety car will be coming in at the end of this lap. I have never seen on an F1 game. There we go. Even if the pack hasn't caught up, safety car is coming in. Gamer, Line Violet and Cyril will close up. Dan Spreen and Santeri are going to have to pretty much ignore the yellow flags and just race their way round to the circuit at this moment in time. Jensen has come into the pits. He's in 10th place. He's going to finish in 10th unless he does crash out of this race. But safety car coming in to this lap then. A 2-race sprint to decide the result of this Austrian Grand Prix. Maybe we were a bit hasty saying that we're not going to see Gamer take a victory this season. He's on the fresh tyres. He's going to have 4 overtakes to do, though, and no DRS to do them with.
Now, as we see, Brock has all the hopes of McLaren fans on his shoulders right now. He comes around the final corner. It's a great getaway. Santeri gets a penalty, just adds further to his woes today. He's still in the points. Well, they'll all be in the points now. It's the top 10 as they come round the first corner for the penultimate time this race. As Tom Robbo trying to look for any moves. CRG Gamer in 5th. Will he make any moves? They come down up into Remus. It's still a McLaren 1-2. Will Tom Robbo make a move? He's actually a little behind. He's actually losing time to the two McLarens is not going very well. Nico is coming close to him, so is Gamer. But the order is yet to change. And remember, no DRS, so you're not going to get that extra oomph you normally do if you're behind the car in front.
Yeah, certainly. No DRS and basically full ERS for all of these drivers now. So it's just a flat-out sprint. Who needs sprint races in Formula 1 when you've got this? Nico's got a bit wide through 7, compromised his line through 8. Gamer's almost getting squeezed to the outside here, and he is just going to have to stay behind the car in front for now. Tom Robbo's one wide, Nico's one wide, so he's got himself a penalty, and Nico has a half spin there. Don't know if he avoided the wall, but he's going to lose out to Line Violet and Civil as well. Santeri sets the fastest lap of the race. We have got 1 lap to go here. Ladies and gentlemen, Brock, it looks like, has got clear. Jensen has got himself a penalty here. Andreev in 2nd place. Gamer, he's going to get himself up to 3rd on penalties. Can he do it out on track?
COG Gamer getting very close to Tom Robbo. My goodness me, he actually gave him a bit of a bump. And right behind he goes as Cyril passing Line Violet right now. This for 5th position. CRG Gamer goes onto the inside of Tom Robbo. Can he do it? Yes, he can, but I do not see him getting... No, he's actually still side by side. Why is he still side by side of him? Tom Robbo has a penalty, but he gets through. And he is in 3rd on track, and he'll probably be in 3rd on the race. His winning streak might be over. But the two McLarens are going to come into 1st and 2nd, bar a mistake. Yes, they are. Both on medium tires, but it is going to be Brock who wins here in Austria. Andrea in 2nd, a 1-2. As we said, CRG Gamer, his winning streak is over, but he still wraps a podium from the jaws of defeat. Luke, what a finish!
What a finish indeed. The chaos seemed to start. Obviously, Tom Robbo was on the older tyres than a lot of the drivers around him, and on those softs. They'd have been heavily worn towards the end. I imagine he's finished on the most worn set of tyres of everyone. That just helped. Nico lost it a bit in the dirty air, got a penalty. Gamer got a move done, then Nico almost losing the car completely. What could have been a race where he was actually gaining on Gamer. He's now lost out to Gamer in the championship, who extends his championship lead. I'm just going to try and do some quick maths at this moment in time, but it is now, I believe, a 67-point championship lead after 5 races. Absolutely fantastic. But we've finally got a different winner this season. It is Shazoo Brock, and it is a McLaren 1-2. Maybe, just maybe, they could put up a bit of a challenge in the Constructors' Championship, and CRG Gamer finishing in 3rd. The rest of the provisional results then be interesting to see whether there is any steward inquiries in this race. Tom Robbo finishes 4th on his debut. Nico, 5th place for him. What could have been without that safety car? Ironically, his teammate crashing out. I think it's definitely cost him a podium there. Cyril gets 6th. Santeri started on pole, had that spin, still comes home in 7th. Dunscreen 8th. Line Violet had a spin at the end to get 9th. Jensen, well, it seemed like what was going to be a bit of a pointless evening for him, does come home with 1 point in the end for 10th place. Retirements, Tomer caused for safety car. We had Simon having decent issues of retiring in the pit lane, and also Rudy, Marcus Towler, Cohen, and Kryptonite. A very interesting Austrian Grand Prix at the end, and it seems to be a feature of this game at this moment in time that you just get late safety cars that seem to cause problems for everyone.
Yeah, as I've just seen with the fastest lap, Brock's fastest lap was second slowest amongst those who finished 105.818. The slowest being Dan Spreen, who, by the way, shout out to him. He started from the back and he managed to salvage 4 points. Fair play to him. But it is a McLaren 1-2. It is McLaren's night here on WOR PlayStation.
Yeah, it's been a brilliant, obviously a brilliant performance by them. Gamer, he'll be happy with that. Obviously, extending his championship lead, he would not have expected at any point in that race, I think, to be perfectly honest, up until the final lap, from when he got the damage. I don't think he thought a podium was on the cards. I mean, 1 point, we were talking about him getting passed by Cyril and maybe some of those further behind. It's just in the final few laps, he seemed to find a second win, obviously, on putting on those fresh tyres. And again, he didn't get any penalties. He did get 3rd on track and didn't gain in the end, but he didn't have to make that move on Tom Robbo. We wouldn't have had to make that move on Nico and so many others as well. It is so crucial when there's a late safety car. If you've got penalties, you are going to lose out, and that proved to be the case again today.
Yes, it did. By the way, do we believe we're going to get the drivers in for interviews, perhaps? Or is that not so possible?
We are going to try our best to get our drivers in for interviews. To be perfectly honest, Gamer's pretty well accustomed to this. by now, unsurprisingly. He's been in the interview box quite a few times this season, but normally it's been after a victory, never normally after a podium before. McLaren, like you said, absolutely perfect. Great recovery from Brock, who I believe was down in 5th place at the moment. And again, other drivers making mistakes around him. Rudy had a few spins. We saw Nico spin out. Cohen as well spinning out after looking like he might challenge for the victory. Brock didn't put a foot one, and a very, very well-deserved victory. And in the end, quite a straightforward victory.
Yes, indeed. Of course, for people who are just new to this, CRG Gamer was our regular winner, but sorry about that. Not tonight. Looks like the tables have not really turned for him, though. He's now up to 115 points, and I believe should be, 67 points clear of Lars, I believe, if there has not been any major changes that I know of. Brock should be on 46 now, but Lars still on 48. Nico, with that 4th place, goes up to 4th with 46. Now, this is provisional, of course, because, as you know, there may be some jurors' inquiries, of course, and there are definitely going to be some, as we have CRG Gamer in the box. But, of course, we will be interviewing Brock first once he comes in, and welcome to you two, Gamer and Andrea. Congratulations on your podium. Well, I should say, not to be rude, but commiserations, Gamer, on the end of your winning streak. But still, great podium salvage for you tonight.
Yeah, we will.
Oh, he's on deafen.
Yeah, we'll start the interviews off then. We'll start off with CLG Gamer. As Logan said, commiserations on the end of your winning streak, but a podium that perhaps you didn't expect at the halfway point of the race.
Sorry, I've had some connection issues. So you can hear me now. Yeah, I'm assuming you asked.
Yeah, just talking to you obviously about the your winning streak's ended, which is obviously a shame for you. But that was a podium that halfway through the race, even with 4 or 5 laps to go, to be perfectly honest, it didn't really look like the podium was on. So probably not too upset with how tonight turned out.
Yeah, it's exactly that really. The safety car sort of saved what was quite a miserable race from my end. The start of it was going pretty well. Obviously, with the nature of Austria, it's just a lot of trains, and it's quite a tactical way of positioning in the sort of first stint. But just unfortunate. Just tapped the back of Brock in the braking zone at turn 4, and as soon as I did that, the MFD was still green, but you know how it is in this game. You just had catastrophic understeer, so yeah, I had to pit straight away, and unfortunately that gets you out the train, and then the older tyres and everything, you can't really catch back up again. So it was just surviving and making sure I didn't get a penalty at that point, and hoping that something would come along like the safety car to save me, which it did. But yeah, it was slightly too late to really make any challenges towards the front two. So, but yeah, P3 is as good as it would have got tonight. So.
Yeah, definitely. Still, like you said, a fantastic result for yourself in the end. How relieved were you as well when you came into the pits under the safety car and every car behind you followed you in, so you didn't lose track position?
Yeah, that was pretty ideal. I mean, to be fair, I wasn't focusing too much on what was happening behind. I always had my sights set up front. I think if the leaders had a pit, I would have stayed down and done the opposite. So it was always going to be the gamble to see what paid off. But yeah, the pit stop definitely was the correct decision. But as I say, with 2 laps left and everyone's got maximum battery, it's very difficult to make any more positions up the way I got to. So yeah, it was good overall.
Yeah, certainly did work out well for you in the end. Logan, do you have any questions for our 3rd place finisher?
Not really, except, of course, winning streak is over, but I don't think that's going to phase you that much with that massive lead in the championship. We're only 5 rounds through, a long way to go, of course. How do you see yourself planning with this next 9 races, the last 9 races in the championship?
It'll just be taking it as I have so far. Just one race at a time, really. I don't really pay attention to what races left or whatever, so I'll just do the job for each race, and then we'll see where we end up at the end of it. So, that's what it'll be.
Do you think there will be any challengers, perhaps, or do you believe that it's too early to tell?
I mean, the way it's been going so far is you don't know what's going to happen. Obviously, you could have a run of unfortunate or just not being on the pace or whatever. You could lose quite a lot of points. So yeah, it depends. Like I say, you don't have a clue what's going to happen on this game in racing. So yeah, let's take it one race at a time, and we'll have to see where we come out.
Congratulations on, well, I would say congratulations, but the winning streak is over. But I don't think it's that bad. Of course, it's good to get a podium despite the circumstances. Nearly going out because out of contention because of that wing damage and coming back to third. It seemed like a big ask, but you did get it done in the end. Do we have congratulations first, but do we have Andrea here? Yeah, because he was here, but he seems to have left. But yeah, thank you, gamer. I wish you best of luck for the season. Luke, do you have any more questions?
No, that is it from me. So congratulations, gamer, on another podium and on, of course, extending your championship lead.
Thank you. We'll call it the podium streak now instead. Be the new one.
Yeah, you can do a Schumacher from 2002 now and go for a podium in every race of the season. We'll have to see how that goes. Congratulations once again.
Yeah, cheers, guys.
Cheers to Gamer for joining us. Unfortunately, Andrea's having a few connection issues, so he was unable to hear us, and Brock is unable to join us. So that is the end for the podium interviews, and what was a very close race in the end. But like Gamer said, even with the late safety car, even with those fresher tyres, it's always going to be difficult to pit right at the end of the race, and we've seen it happen so often on this game. I'm sure you've seen it in various races you've commentated on. It only takes a light tap to that front wing to cause any damage, and then you've got to come in instantly to avoid losing heaps and heaps of time.
Yes, indeed. Even though the streak's over, he is still well ahead, as we have said. I do believe next week, of course, we will continue our voyage through time and space in Great Britain, Silverstone, of course, the home of Formula One racing. This is where it began all the way back in 1950. It looks much different as it used to. Of course, used to be an RAF airbase, but now is a motorsporting god of a circuit.
Yeah, certainly. It's going to be a fascinating race around the Silverstone circuit, so make sure to catch that one at same time, same place on the WOR YouTube channel, 8 PM on Friday evening. Before that, we have got the Xbox action. Ron Hall leading the championship at the moment in the Xbox tier. What can he extend his championship lead at the Silverstone circuit? That'll be on 8 PM on a Monday as well. Of course, we've got lower tier PS action from tier 3 on a Monday. Lower tiers from Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. Myself and Sam, I imagine he'll be back. We'll be taking you through the tier 1 action on Friday 8 PM. And Logan will be taking you through the tier 2 action. That is also on a Monday at 8, on a Friday, at 8 PM. And you can watch everything on the YouTube channel as well. Thanks to all the drivers for providing what was a very interesting Austrian Grand Prix. Thanks to CLG Gamer for interviewing with us. Thanks to Logan for joining me in the commentary box. And thanks most importantly to all you guys for joining us as well. We will see you in a week's time for the British Grand Prix. The win streak might be over. The podium streak continues. And it is now a 67-point lead in the championship for CLG Gamer. Can anyone stop him this season? Maybe the McLarens have just shown they've got plenty left in the tank for the second half of the season. Take care of yourselves, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And goodbye.